Good afternoon. This is Susan, and this is Susan's Ramblings. Today I am talking about beef. And beef, yeah, we can't afford it. It's really expensive. But it's got to be general knowledge. I'm giving you general knowledge right now. Roasting. You cut the roast, a large tender cuts of meat. Your method is place meat fat side up on the rack in a shallow pan. Do not cover. Do not add water. The old method of searing or browning the surface of the meat for a short application of intense heat is rarely used. That's for your big cuts, tender cuts. Broiling. Your cuts are tender steaks, chopped, sliced ham or bacon or ground meat. Steaks and chops should be at least 3/4 inch thick. Ham slices 1/2 inch. Place meat on a rack 2 to 5 inches from the heat. Broil until brown. Turn and broil the other side until the desired degree of doneness. Cut small slits in meat to note the color of it for doneness. Pan broiling. Thin cuts, no more than 1 inch thick, of the same type recommended for broiling. Use a heavy pan or griddle. Do not preheat. For very lean cuts, brush pan with a small amount of shortening if desired. Otherwise, do not add fat or water. Cook meat slowly, turning occasionally and pouring off fat as it accumulates until the desired degree of doneness. Do not cover. Pan frying. Thin, tender pieces of meat that have been made more tender by scoring, cubing, or grinding. Add small amounts of fat to pan and allow fat to accumulate as meat cooks. Cook meat on both sides over medium heat, turning occasionally until the desired degree of doneness. Do not cover. For braising. Less tender cuts of meat and certain tender cuts from such meat as pork. Brown meat slowly in a heavy pan. Pour off dripping, season, and if necessary, add a small amount of liquid to stuff the cuts. Cover, simmer on the top of the stove or in a 300 to 325 degree oven until tender. Cooking in liquid. Your cuts are large, less tender cuts and stew meat. Method. Brown your meat on the outside if desired. Cover meat with liquid as directed and season. Cover and simmer until tender. Do not boil. Okay? Those are our methods of cooking beef. Like I said, most of us can't afford beef now, but if you raise your own, then you have no problem. And I'm sure several of you raise your own beef. Now I'm going to go to the beef cuts. The cuts that you get from each part of the beef. If you look over to your right, there is a diagram of your meats. Okay, here we go. From the chuck, boneless chuck eye roast, chuck rib steak, short ribs, blade pot roast or steak, arm pot roast or steak, boneless shoulder pot roast or steaks, cross rib pork roast. You braise or you cook in liquids. From the rib, your rib roast, your rib steaks, boneless rib steaks, the rib eye or the demonio, I don't know, roast or steak. You roast it, braid, broil, or pan fry. Short loin, T-bone steaks, porterhouse steaks, top loin steaks, boneless top loin steaks, tenderloin or the filet mignon steak, or roast. You roast it, you broil, or pan fry. From the sirloin, pin bone sirloin steak, flat bone sirloin steak, wedge bone sirloin steak, boneless sirloin steak. You broil or you pan fry. From the round, rolled lump roast, round steak, top round steak, bottom round steak, eye of the round, heel of the round, or your cube steak. You braise, or you cook in liquid. From the tip roast or steak, tip kebabs. You braise it. From the flank, on the bottom, flank steak roll. You braise or cook in liquids. From the short ribs, skirt steak roll, and you braise and cook in liquids. These are your tougher cuts, okay? From the biscuit, fresh biscuits, corn biscuits, braise or you cook in liquids. From the shank, foreshank, cross cuts, you braise or cook in liquids. Your hamburger and your beef for stew comes from the flank, from the short plate, the foreshank, the chuck, and the round. That's it for beef. We'll catch the rest of them later on. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.